Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Blackman Beyond. My name is Marc Bernardin. This is my fancy-ass fucking co-host.
Tricia Helfer.
Just
kidding.
Katee Sackhoff.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming in and filling in a last-moment notice.
Oh, absolutely. This is what friends are for, right?
Yeah. Tricia is fine. Everybody, all is well. Her cats, all 400 of them, are all
fine.
good.
She'll live.
They'll all live. She's like a minor surgery thing, but she was like, I'm gonna be crazy fucking loopy, and the doctor.
She actually wanted to come, and the doctors were like, "You're gonna be high." No.
Yeah, you should maybe like lay down so you don't fall down.
And she's real tall, so that's a long way to fall.
It's a whole thing, and actually, I feel better today because she always she dwarfs me every time
well,
we go out
me
in
too.
public, and it's just like, oh hey, Tricia, let's talk about dumb shit today.
And she just smiles at you real pretty and Canadian-like.
I know, and like I could tell. I remember I got a new car not so long ago. I got a Mustang, right? And so I drive it up to Tricia's house, and she's like, "Oh, you got a Mustang? Did you get the big 5.0 cylinder?"
Yeah.
And I said, "No, I got the EcoBoost." And the look on her face.
She's a dude.
She I've never felt quite so emasculated when she's like, "Aw."
Oh, you're cute.
I know. I was like, have you seen the giant motorcycles I have in the garage and the Porsches that I drive all the time?
It's all right. I do the same thing as much as I can. I'm doing construction on my house, and the guy today was like, "Why doesn't your boyfriend drive these motorcycles?" And I was like, "'Cause they're mine."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, copy that."
Gracias. Okay, so you and I we've met 3 times.
I saw this tweet,
Yes.
and I was racking my brain.
I know.
I'm taking my jacket off. I'm going to stay a while.
Do it, yeah. The
you.
third time.
It's not expensive. It's from H&M. You can throw it on the ground. Actually, it's Topshop. It's a little bit, more high-end.
Fancy as fuck.
H&M.
The third time was an Oscar party that Bad Robot threw, with the Irish Alliance of whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And we're in this, oh, hey, we just did a podcast together. And you're like, oh, hey, I remember. And you were super sweet for not remembering who I was. And then you're like, oh, that's right. You came to my house. Yeah, I came to your house. The second time was doing the podcast at your house, which was lovely. And one of it was the 3rd episode of the Battlestar Galactica we'd ever done. We did the first 2 at Tricia's house, where I almost died because I didn't realize how much dander was in her place, and I'm crazy allergic to that shit.
I'm allergic to cats too.
Yeah, so I sit there at the kitchen table and I start going, and suddenly. And just the wheezing begins, and the tears start to roll. I'm like, no, the miniseries, it was, and I could almost died, and you could hear me almost die.
The emotion about Battlestar Galactica was so profound.
It
You were
swole
crying.
my eyes up and constricted my chest. But the first time we met was, I want to say it was 2007, 2008. I was working for Entertainment Weekly, and I was moderating a panel at San Diego Comic-Con in Ballroom 20, my first big-ass fucking panel. Sci-Fi asked me, would you do the Women of Battlestar panel? And I said, yeah.
Oh, I did. I had a purple dress on and yellow shoes.
I remember the shoes.
Dude.
And so, because I was the Battlestar dude at EW. I was the one who watched the first season box set and evangelized about it. I was like, guys, we got to cover this fucking show. For real? No, you got to cover it. And what sealed the deal was I was watching the beginning of season 2, and Stephen King was a columnist for the magazine. And he decided to drop in and visit us one day, didn't tell anybody. And so I'm sitting in my office watching Battlestar, and I look over my shoulder, and Stephen fucking King is standing in my doorway, and has been for 10 minutes. And just I look over, it's oh, hey, Stephen King. It's hey, I love this show. I know, right? And he stayed for another 10 minutes to keep watching. And then went about his merry way and scared children somewhere. But I advocated to put it on the cover. I was the guy who recapped it. I was the all-in guy. So Sci-Fi was do you want to moderate a panel? I said, fuck yes. What is it? Women of Battlestar. Down to show up and do this work. And so I go in the green room, and they introduce me around. It's oh, hi, this is Katee. Hey. Oh, this is Tricia. Hey. This is okay, what we're going to do now is for the third season, we're bringing Lucy Lawless on as a cast member. Like she had been in the episode of season 2, and we're making full on a member of the cast. So we're gonna make it a surprise, like in front of 6,000 people. Like, here's fucking Lucy Lawless, she's joining the show. Wow! And so my job was, all right, we're gonna introduce her and say, hey Tricia, what was it like to share Baltar with another woman? And then she would answer, and then Lucy would come out and say, he's mine! In a thing that sounds Australian or New Zealand.
In a very Kiwi accent.
Very Kiwi accent. No, he's mine.
He's mine.
Well, that's like
I can't do it anymore.
I can't do it anymore. No, can you do it? Do you have it?
I used to.
Ooh, you're getting
Went away.
there.
No, that's Australia now.
Yeah. I end up doing like Taika. I end up doing Korg.
Everyone does Taika now.
Everybody does Taika. You mean to tell me you had a very intimate relationship with that hammer? And when it left, you were destroyed emotionally? And so I'm like, okay, I got it. What was it like to share Baltar with another woman? I got it. So we're walking to the stage, right? And the publicist, Lana Kim, walks over to me. Sweet Lana Kim. Walks over and says, okay, you got it? Great. What was it like to share Baltar with another man? I got it. And so I get out there on stage in front of all those people, and I say, hey, Tricia, so what was it like to share Baltar with another man? And like Lucy comes out like hot as a pistol, and Tricia's like, I'm not a man, she's not a man, you're an asshole. And like that moment is somewhere on YouTube, I think, of me just like, oh, it's over. Like I just know. I've never experienced this level of shame.
But you can't forget it.
I can never forget it.
During the pilot of Battlestar Galactica, there was this one line I had to say, and I couldn't get it out of my mouth. And I had never done sci-fi before, and this was like the first job I had where I wasn't like the annoying blonde that died and you were happy she did. So I was so excited, and like I was in a plane, and I was like, this is gonna be awesome, and I couldn't get it out of my mouth, and I thought they were gonna fire me. I had to tape my lines to my radius, my
Dratus?
But that Dratus thing. Thank you so much. And I would tape my lines there. So anytime you ever saw Starbuck doing this, it's because I was reading my lines. But I can't forget it now. We've got violent decompressions irradiating from the port flight pod. Now I can't forget it. I have nightmares about port flight pods. I know it's on the left side.
But I will never hold it against somebody, like, to have met me in that scenario. It's like, fuck it, I get it. I met, a buddy of mine used to do a reality show with Gene Simmons called Family Jewels on A&E.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. And so he invited me to go see Kiss one day in Madison Square Garden. And like backstage, you're doing a meet and greet, and fucking Gene is all in the giant demon outfit, like 9 feet tall. He's like, hey, how's it going? Meeting this dude. And one guy comes up and says, hey, Gene, I don't know if you remember, but we met 4 years ago in Des Moines. And Gene looks at him like dead in the eyes and said, if you had my life, would you remember you? And I said, oh my God, you killed that poor man. Like, it's true, but you didn't have to put it that way. But I've always sort of taken it like, no, there's no reason why that person should have remembered me, because I'm one of 1,000 journalists that I'm sure you'd met over the course of that time. But here we are.
But you were in my house.
Later. That part you remember.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. My dad, till this day, calls everybody Bub. Because like him and the Big Lebowski, like call everybody Bub, because he didn't remember anyone's names from high school, so all of our friends were just Bub. So now when I meet people, I'm like, yo, what's up, Bub?
I know. It's like, hey man, how you doing? What's going on? Haas was my favorite. How you doing, Haas? That means I don't remember who you are.
I don't know who you are.
I should
know. If I call you Bub, no idea.
It's all gone.
None.
But here we are, and thank you again for coming to play with me.
Absolutely.
Are you working on anything we can talk about? No.
I just finished an episode of The Flash, which
awesome.
I'm still hoping that I can work with Kevin, and he will direct me someday on that.
We'll make that happen.
So I got to go and do my terrible British accent.
Fabulous.
Which I love. And people either love it or they hate it. I think they're missing the point. And I was sort of, it's not real.
Were you working with Damien Poitier?
I did.
I love Damien Poitier.
I just worked with Damien.
I
got to make out with him.
Shut up.
Like, I crawled up him like a spider monkey.
I mean, like, I don't like to go out with him, like, in the world, because he's like giant and gorgeous, and he's got these eyes, and
his eyes are like yellow.
I mean, he's a black dude with crazy fucking like light hazel eyes.
Yeah.
Like, Damien, you're not fair. Like,
and he's like 6'4".
And he's 6'4".
And he's also like big.
Yeah, and like fucking martial arts dude. He's Luke Cage. He was the stunt double for Mike Coulter on Luke Cage. He's that fucking guy.
Yeah.
So I steer clear.
But he's like a teddy bear, too.
He's lovely and wonderful.
Yeah, and he let me take advantage of him in character.
But we can't be in the same room together because my self-image will not stand. Just like, I'm going home, man. I lost everything.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like I think Idris Elba and I share the same birth month. Literally, we are the same age. And I'm like, that? No, not at all. I don't know how that happened. He's the best version of 47. I am not. But whatever.
Robin Wright Penn and I have the same birthday, and she's older than me, and I keep hoping that that's what I'm gonna like look like. I
mean, I think you and that is a hop and a skip. I am a big fucking jump before I get to like, yeah, man. Sure, I could be Luther again. Luther Vandross, maybe, but not the Luther that other people seem to like.
Did you see Idris post a picture of him when he was like in 1995 and he still looked like Rico Suave?
Yes, what the fuck is that?
Like he still looked like he went
you
home
didn't
with a
glow
different
up,
person
dude.
every night.
Like you glowed out of the wombs. Like, look at me. I'm still Stringer Bell. Always Stringer Bell.
He did, and then someone else posted a picture. Who was it that... It was, John posted one, Christy Teigen. Yeah, so he posted one, and he literally looked like Steve Urkel.
Yeah, that dude, that's a dude who had some work done. Just soup to nuts. I don't mean like he got a boob job, but I mean like he put himself together in a way that Idris did not have to.
He did. He started dating a supermodel.
Yeah, that'll do it. She fixed all that.
Yeah.
How was your day?
It was good. We're working on a Christmas special for the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And so we were at home all day sort of working on that and getting it together and sort of dealing with the sponsor and trying to figure out what's funny. And since we don't have snow in Los Angeles, so it's like, well, we could go snowshoeing.
Christmas at the beach.
Yeah.
You can make a Sandman.
Yeah, so all that stuff. So that's what I did today, I think. I think that's what I did today.
I mean, it's all good.
I feel like I didn't leave my house.
There might have been more shit.
I have showered.
Hey, you know what? You fucking win.
Thank you so much.
You really do.
Thank you. Oh, and we watched Revenge of the Sith. We were watching that when I left home.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I watched do you have feelings about The Mandalorian?
I have positive feelings about The Mandalorian, and I have seen your tweet, sir.
Yes. The first time I saw
it has softened.
It softened somewhat.
Because you just gave up.
Yes. We watched the pilot episode in the writer's room where I'm currently working on a show that I cannot talk about because, whatever.
So we're going to stand up here and talk about all the shows we can't talk about.
Yeah, it's just going to be like NDA City. Like, what are you doing? Can't say.
Can't
what
say.
Are you doing now?
We were just out in the alley.
Yeah,
by
the green
dumpster.
room.
It's the green room. And he said, what are you working on? Can't talk about it. What are you working on? Can't talk about it.
Yeah, fucking A. So we all kind of watched it, and we've been, as you do, laboring to build a season-long pitch for this show we're working on. And we're like, all right, we're hammering out all the beats and all the character stuff, and like, we got to make sure we got enough action in here, or the female characters popping, all this stuff doing. And then you watch the pilot of The Mandalorian, and it's like, well, what's happening here? Not much. Like, he goes into a bar, beats up a couple dudes, goes into his ship. There's an ice thing that he deals with pretty quickly. Then kind of goes to another place, talks about currency for a stretch. Like, we don't take these currencies, we take those currencies. What about those? Don't do that anymore. But he's called weather, so that's cool. And then he goes and talks to like a German documentarian who seems to work for the Empire. And he's like, I've got another job for you, but we don't pay any real money. It's like, more money? Shit. Okay, let's talk about the financial systems of the post-Empire
They're
universe.
hammering home that Mandalorians work for money. at this point.
They totally do.
I'm just making sure you got that.
I only take the calamari pugs. Like, sure.
But do you remember what the money looks like?
Yeah. Little poker chippy things.
Yeah, but it's like slimy, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, you remember it, so it obviously made an impression.
I mean, it did its thing. It did its thing, right? And so, like, the German documentarian is like, all right, go and do this thing. I'm going to pay you in this little slab of metal, which means something to you because Mandalorians. And then he goes and, like, welds a thing for a while and has flashbacks. And then you have two characters who don't have heads talking to each other. And, like, I don't know what people feel about this exchange because they don't have faces and I can't see eyes and whatever. Okay. And then he's like, I'm going to this place. And he lands and he's like, how am I going to get to that place? I got to ride this ball sack here because we wanted, like, a Bronco busting part of this show because we're only 38 minutes long and we can't sprint.
But weren't you amazed at the agility of them?
I
was like, wow, they move real good for like chubby things. Like,
and I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect it. Chubby
I was like if my pug moved that fast, I'd be like, oh shit, she deserves her show too.
Would you look at that motherfucker jump over that little chasm? It's badass. And so then they ride the ball sacks to a place that he couldn't fly a spaceship to for reasons, and then lands.
Stealth, man, stealth. It's all about stealth.
It's all about stealth. Because he's a Mandalorian, and this is in your ancestry.
I have spoken.
Thanks, Nick Nolte. And then, so it's Nick Nolte's voice. Like, he's that dude, because Nick Nolte. And so then they get to the little, like, old West town where Taika, again, because we love the Taika. So Taika's IG-11. Yes. I'm going to activate my self-destruct mechanism. No! And, like, that's fun. So he hops on the fucking, like, blaster cannon. It spins around. It's like Disco Fever. And he blows up all the bad dudes. And then finds Baby Yoda. And I'm like, okay, I mean, sure. But
weren't you shocked by that? Because you're like, dude, Baby Yoda's 50.
Yeah, he's 50 years old. Since the German documentarian. You have to be careful. Sure. Yeah. Which is, cool, and it's like Baby Yoda.
Because I knew it wasn't Gina because she's not 50. So I was like, who is it that they're trying to find?
Yeah, and it's Baby Yoda.
It's Baby Yoda.
Baby fucking Yoda, which is the most adorable version of Yoda I think I've ever seen.
He's sort of like the Puss in Boots cat.
With the eyes.
The hat. Like the big eyes.
Yeah, what you need me to do? I don't need the Force. I got these eyes.
Right?
I'll make you do whatever. Just look at me.
You just look at me.
So I was underwhelmed the first time I saw it. And then I saw it again. And I watched 1 and 2 together, kind of back to back twice. And by the time I watched it the second time, I'm like, okay. And I realized something that I always tend to forget, which is Star Wars is and always has been for children. And it is not like it's not like Harry Potter. Harry Potter grows with the audience. Like, Harry Potter begins as a fucking Scooby-Doo mystery and becomes this fucking nihilistic, super goth version of all of my friends are going to die, everything I love is gone, and, like, hope is a tiny flicker that I'm going to try and fan, otherwise Voldemort's going to kill everything and everyone. This is, like, kind of always for kids. And when I forget that, it's when I become disappointed by it. And that's totally fine because I saw it when I was a kid. And I loved it when I was a kid. And it did all of the things for me as a kid. But I've grown up and expect things from something that it's not giving me anymore. And that's my fault. Like, that's not the content's fault. And I love it that it's for kids. And I love it. And kids would totally get off on, we're going to ride this ball sack for a while and fall off it a little bit and then hop back on it. And he learned a thing. He learned how to ride something today. And that's totally cool. And once I kind of turned that corner, I accepted it for what it was, not what I wanted it to be. And I think that it's always instructive for me to greet art on its own terms. Like, not to bring myself into it too much, but to let it be what it is. And the version that is pretty fun. Like, it's not about taxation tariffs and trade blockades and all of that shit, which is the mistake George Lucas made, which was, I'm going to try and grow this shit up. Nah, George, we don't want that.
I loved it. I loved it. I also barely graduated from high school, so like maybe I'm a child still.
We're all
like,
driven.
No, I loved it. You know, I've been a fan of it. We talked about this a little bit outside, that I've been a fan of Star Wars since I was a kid. And so for me, I love the world. I love what all the movies have done. I love what Clone Wars and Rebels have done, where they've they've slotted themselves in, so you can now go back and watch it in different order and appreciate it for different reasons. It's like a choose your own adventure story, which I love. I'm like, ooh, let's go this way, and then I love it. I loved every second of it. And I just can't wait to see what they keep doing. But I am in the
which
Disney does pay my salary. So.
Fuck yes, get that money. And I do appreciate it and respect it for doing the thing that I've always wanted Star Wars to start doing. I've never been a sort of expanded universe person. I've been very mainline. I've been very much about the movies, about Clone Wars. I never got that deep into Rebels, but like I love that they're finding new stories to tell in this world, because for too long it's felt like we're all about the fucking Skywalkers, and I get it, but we're coming to the end of that. So what's the rest of this world like? And
that's what I love about it. It's such a vast world, and there are so many interesting places to go. And I honestly feel like if done well over at Disney Plus, they have the ability to twist and turn this into so many different like iterations of it. And as a fan of sci-fi, for me, like that's just, it could be different, like multiple different shows, it could be more movies, it could be so many different things. And I love the idea that it could just continue to grow for me. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I want new places, I want new planets, I want things that I've never seen before. And I'm hoping the Mandalorian goes there, because for now it's a little familiar, even just texturally, like Jawas and sand, and like I get it. Like I spent a lot of these movies here. What else we got? Like bring me someplace new. Do the new things, and that excites me about the potential of Star Wars. And if this is the first step into a brave new world, totally down.
I mean, they have enough money, so
they are never gonna go hungry over at the Disney Plus.
No, I don't think so. We watched the Jeff Goldblum thing on Disney Plus.
How was that? It's Jeff Goldblum. So.
Crazy.
Like good crazy or like crazy?
I haven't decided yet. I feel like I went in with an expectation. And like I feel like I should have watched it as a child, not an adult. I think it would have been helpful. I feel like Jeff Goldblum's for children.
Yes. As a person who has worked at a couple of different streamers over time, how do you feel I guess we're calling them streaming wars, is going to shake out? Like, there will come a time where we are going to have to pay as much for the various streamers that we now pay for cable, if you still have cable.
Well, it's completely cyclical. We're going to end up in the exact same place where we were 15 years ago. We're going to bundle everything up. People are going to start buying each other. Amazon's going to own Netflix soon, and we're all just going to like bundle it up, and then we'll pay for those bundles again. It's just, it's going to continue to go like this. It's just, this has happened before, and it'll happen again.
I didn't even tee you up for that. That was nice. No, you fucking got there. It's like you've done this before. And you'll do it again.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Should we talk about some news?
Sure, let's talk about news.
Let's talk about the news. Here's the part of the show where Kevin usually says that I scour the internets looking for news, and then I copy paste them and put them into a document and then read them out loud. But I said it now because Kevin's not here, so fuck that dude.
Now, I have been in like construction hell in my house for like 3 months. So like, it depends on what kind of news you're talking about, because this may...
I mean, we're not going to talk about like impeachment.
Are we going to talk about impeachment hearings? Because
No.
I can't.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
I'm going to need a bottle of whiskey, please.
It's like, I don't drink during the week, but I'm making an exception because we're talking about
I was telling
this.
them I stopped drinking during the week because as I get older, I was like, wow, like it's not as easy to stay in shape as it used to be. And I don't want to go on a diet, so I'll just stop drinking during the week. So I can keep...
Which, like, you should write a book.
It worked. It worked so well.
It's like the shortest book ever. Just don't drink. Saturday, Sunday, drink.
It's like, eat whatever you want.
It's all fucking good. If you can rock this, great. So, late breaking news. Are you a Star Trek fan along with your Star Wars-ness? Did you never swing that way?
Oh, I swung that way for about 4 years, and then I figured out that wasn't where I should be.
Underhand. They are going to make another Star Trek movie. The writer-director of said Star Trek movie will be Noah Hawley. Are you familiar with the Noah Hawleys?
No.
Noah Hawley is the writer, creator, executive producer of Legion and Fargo on the FX.
Cool.
And so JJ, I don't think, will have very much to do with this version of Star Trek. They are now kind of doing the kind of thing that I'm applauding DC for doing at this point, which is, let's give it to somebody else. Like, let's give it to this guy who has a vision for it. Like, let's make the weird anthology version of Star Trek where we just get a bunch of talented people to come in and give us their take on the final frontier.
Absolutely. And I mean, honestly, like, it would have been really cool to see a Quentin Tarantino version of Star Trek, but we all knew that was never going to happen. I mean,
according to Paramount, that's not dead. They're calling it a spin-off, and sure, it's never going to happen.
I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the Hateful Eight in space.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Yes, cloaking devices on. Beam me up, fuckface. Okay.
Right? You beam up, it's Salma Hayek with a snake wrapped around her.
Yeah, totally. I had this phaser buried in my ass for 4 years. And I brought it back for you.
Zoe Bell jumps out.
Now I kind of want that.
I kind of want that too. Let's get rid of the old Star Trek and let's do that.
Fuck you guys. We're just burying phasers in everybody's asses. This got really weird, Quentin. I know. And nobody wears shoes on the Enterprise.
What are those? The scribbles. Like, remember the
little... the tribbles?
The tribbles. Like, just a bunch of tribbles. Like,
just...
What you realize is they've just got, like, a bunch of cokes shoved up their asses. Those are drug smuggling devices in Quentin's version.
They're adorable, aren't they? Yeah. Just filled with, like, raw dilithium. We just snort it. Just railing it off of some nebulous
we should have written it.
I know, we totally can. Hey, Paramount. I'm just saying, we hot spun this behind a bar the other day. We're not drinking, not during the week.
We're so not during the week.
Not during the week.
We should shoot on Saturdays and Sundays.
I know.
Because that's when I'm at my best.
Here's what's happening, guys. Just up the final frontier. You know what the final frontier is? Everything's ass.
That reminds me of an episode of Rick and Morty. With the gerbils. No, it's not gerbils. That was Richard Gere. It's the hedgehogs in people's asses when they live in people's asses. Did you guys watch that Rick and Morty? Okay. I just, for a second, I thought I was on my own there.
It's like, did I just make this up?
I thought I was going to have to explain the whole thing. It would have been really
Slow down.
hard.
It's a guy and his grandma. There's a whole time travel thing. And his hedgehogs and asses. That's amazing. I think we should call Paramount. Well, you might have an agent. I fired mine.
Did you? Oh, good.
Yeah, because I'm a writer and we had to do that.
Oh, you all had to do that.
We all had to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you call your agent and be like, hey,
I'll call mine.
I got a take. It's a hot take. Everything.
Like,
everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the voyage to Uranus. Really? That's what you're calling it?
Voyage to Uranus.
Yep.
I like it.
Wordplay.
Aw, we should do this.
Fuck it. Like,
fan video.
I'm not busy.
Me either. I can't talk about it if I am. So
okay, excellent. Right. On our weekends, while drunk, we're totally going to shoot 5 minutes of this. Yes.
Everything.
Are you a Lord of the Rings fan?
You are just mentioning everything that my ex-boyfriend was in, aren't you?
You know, it's just like
you
just happen to date a dude who's in all the things. Are we going to talk about Dread
too now?
We're not talking about the boys. We're skipping the boys.
Thank you. I am a Lord of the Rings fan.
Are you looking forward to the new show that Amazon is currently making?
Yeah, I mean, I think that anytime you take that world and throw so much money at it, it's going to look visually amazing.
Yes, they will have spared no expense to re-render Middle-earth again. There's a first season that is currently in production, and they already greenlit season 2.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't, and we won't see season 1 for like another year, but they're making more.
That's how they're doing things now.
And when you spend $250 million for the rights to then make a show that's going to cost you another $100 million,
you kind of have to.
You're making 5 seasons of that.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
you have
otherwise
to.
the money
only way
doesn't make
it's
sense.
Get its money back. Yeah, absolutely.
They're doing the same thing with The Witcher, which
what's The Witcher?
The Witcher is Henry Cavill is playing a half witch, half blonde, naked dude. I think, from what I gather by the trailers, he never wears any clothes. Yeah, so it's a lot of like. He's got this like platinum blonde hair and he's
Sounds great.
I know, it's...
Sounds like it's going to be very
poster.
visually stimulating.
They spared no expense.
Spared no expense.
Just we took his shirt off a
When
lot.
in doubt, take your clothes off, Henry.
Yeah, come on. That's our budget. It's just working you out a lot.
He was the budget. That was it.
Yeah, we got him. What's he going to do? I don't know, but he's going to be shirtless doing it.
It doesn't matter. No.
But it's based on a series of novels that have then been turned into a video game that was insanely popular. I think he hunts witches, or is a witch who hunts other witches.
I would beg to The Witcher.
The Witcher. I mean, there's witches involved. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless he's just an indecisive person. Which should I do? Which one of these?
Which way do I go? Which way do I go?
Which of these shirts should I not wear today? The blue one or the yellow one? Neither. I figured it out.
An entire episode of that.
Which? This or that?
Of him just trying clothes on for women and gay men.
Honestly,
I would go with number one, please.
Again, we could pitch this tomorrow.
We could. I feel like we're creating so much good fucking content right now.
I mean, I'm ride or die for the Great British Baking Show.
Oh my God, me too. I'm obsessed.
It's the best show on TV. If you've never watched it, I'm pretty sure I've evangelized about this before. But if you've ever had a slightest bit of a bad day, put that on. Everything goes away. Everything goes away, and you're just like, oh, they're all going to be very nice to each other, and they're going to bake. And you need sugar? I've got more sugar for you. Yeah. Do you need help with your thing in your oven?
They talk about bread, and they're like, it's not rising. Is yours rising? Mine's not rising. What do we
soggy
do?
bottom.
What do we do? I don't know. What did you put in yours? I don't know. What did you put in?
Just like,
his is rising.
I don't know.
You put dates in yours. Oh, that's so brilliant. Oh, gosh.
I really want a toffee pudding, and if you fucked up my toffee pudding, I'm going to be very put out.
The Christmas ones are good too.
It's amazing, but it's basically just watching people bake for 8 weeks.
And if they put Henry Cavill in it, think it would be so much better too.
Or just watching that dude, just hey man, try that on. All right.
Henry Cavill. What'd you guys put in yours?
Yeah.
I don't know, Henry. What'd you put in yours? Did you put?
I don't know. I'm making a kryptonite cake. I'm not sure. It's just fucking sprinkled some lemon shit on it. It's all good. I don't know if that's his voice. I decided that that's his voice.
If I was drinking, I could have done his voice.
Yes. I worked on a show, which I can talk about, called Carnival Row.
I love it.
Is that your jam? Precisely your jam?
I do.
It was a ton of fun, but meeting Orlando Bloom was lovely, but his tough guy voice in the show was my favorite thing, because
he talked like a heavy the whole time.
He's like, there's something going on in the berg. I'm like, dude, I know who you are. You're not that guy. Some dark god wakes. No, not so much. Legolas, carry it lighter, buddy. We know where you are.
I loved it.
Listen, I got paid for it. I loved it too.
So you should love it too.
I do, but that voice killed me.
No.
It was amazing.
I must be a real easy sell because I loved it. I did.
I just imagine that's Henry Cavill's trying on clothes voice. Should I do the Oxford collar?
Which way do I go?
I'm not sure. Is it cyan or magenta? I could do either one because look at my body. But my eyes, the blue picks up the cyan better. All right, let's go. That's the whole fucking show.
That's the whole show.
Let's do it.
And in a low moment, he drops the shirt this way.
Yeah. It's like, ooh. Did you see something back there?
That's the whole thing. What happened? We were talking about British baking show.
What
happened?
And then we took first. And then we got to Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Neither of us are stoned. This is usually what happens when Kevin is here. We end up with these weird ass conversation cul-de-sacs, and he pivots how do we get here?
I don't know how we got here.
And my job is to be the ways to lead us back to the conversation where it started.
You're the straight guy.
I'm the fucking straight guy.
That scares me.
My job is to be we went this way, boss. And that's how we found it.
I'm glad it's written down because I am a deer in headlights.
No.
How we got a British baking
Henry
show.
Cavill, and then Henry Cavill trying on clothes would be the most amazing thing even if there's no plot. Did you ever watch the Great British Baking Show? No plot, and adorable British people just doing cool shit.
Thank you.
Henry Cavill. Got it in one.
Full circle.
Colonel Mustard in the observatory with a pipe. Full of weed. Okay, so a thing that one of your ex-boyfriends had nothing to do with so far.
God.
Did you ever read the Elric books? Elric of Melnibone?
No.
Melnibone? They are not quite like Tolkien level popular, but they're kind of on par with Conan the Barbarian, a little bit higher than like John Carter of Mars. But it was this like sort of high fantasy series about this elf who never fit in with his people and like went around doing elf shit. Like,
it sounds awesome. Sounds right up my alley.
It's pretty great.
Actually. Yeah.
And there's like 9 novels of them, and
you lost me.
Sorry. How many? No. Is there a digest?
Last time I did that was Babysitter's Club.
They are making a TV series of this too, because now nothing gets unturned.
Nothing, yeah.
The interesting part about it is that Glenn Mazzara is going to be the showrunner of said thing.
Okay.
Glenn Mazzara, who did The Shield and who did Walking Dead for a stretch, who did Damien, a lovely gentleman and a super smart fucking writer. So I will ride or die for that dude and what he does.
That sounds awesome. I actually kind of want to read the books now. I'm looking for a new set of books to read.
Speaking of books that you may or may not have read, see, I'm really good at the segues. That's my secret skill.
It's almost as if I knew you were going there.
What? Were you a Sin City fan of the comic books? Frank Miller.
I didn't. I mean, I have seen the comic books, but I was not like a diehard fan. No.
Did you see the movie?
I did.
Did you like the movie?
I did.
There's going to be a TV show.
That is awesome.
From Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez.
Frank Miller is amazing, and Robert Rodriguez is amazing. So. Yeah.
No. Frank Miller defined, to a certain degree, my young comic book fandom between his Daredevil run and then fucking Dark Knight Returns and then Sin City and then Ronin and 300, like all of those works, sort of the late 80s, mid to late 80s, all the way up to the early 2000s.
I should have brought my boyfriend because he's like really, you guys could sit here and talk about comic books forever because he's such a cute nerd. I
don't know why you didn't.
I should have brought him. He makes me look smarter. It would have been great. Yeah.
Well, tell him they're making a Sin City show.
He'll be excited. I will.
I always wanted it to be an animated show, though, because the look of those comic books was so striking. It was all black and white. It was all super, just these bold swaths of just blacks and deep inks and just white highlights for stuff. That it always felt, and the movie gets as close as it's going to get.
Because I was going to say the movie is so similar to that.
Yeah, but I always kind of wanted just a full-on 2D animated version of that to be as close as possible. And I think they're planning a live-action show, much in that style, but also spin-off like animated shorts, also out of that world.
Where is it living?
Legendary has it now. Legendary, the same people who did Pacific Rim, Carnival Row. They're doing the Dune show.
Dune. It was one of my favorites.
I love Dune.
I love Dune.
Oh.
Me too.
It's like every now and again you find a person who's like, hey.
Yay.
Fear is a mind killer, right? Yeah.
My dad raised me on sci-fi, and Dune was one of his favorites.
That was the one?
Yeah. The
Dune,
book was always like laying somewhere in the house.
I saw the movie first.
Okay.
And it was the first movie that ever challenged me in a real way because it's batshit crazy and makes very little sense.
Yeah.
But I kept on thinking, am I not working hard enough to understand this? Like, let's watch it again because it's so weird and kind of awesome, but it's a superhero story. It's about this kid who, like, thanks to the genes and drugs, discovers that, you know what I am? I'm the Kwisatz fucking Haderach, man. I'm the sleeper who's about to awaken, and I can control all this shit. But the movie's weird and like doesn't connect a lot of dots.
Yeah, the movie's a little strange.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the Alan Smithy cut of the movie?
No.
Alan Smithy, in case you guys don't know, is the pseudonym that directors take when they want to remove their names from the movie. When like it's been butchered beyond their recognition and like, you know what? I don't want credit for this. Alan Smithy is going to be the director of this.
Really?
And so the Alan Smithy cut is a 4.5-hour cut of that movie with everything they shot. Everything.
Like everything.
Like stuff that doesn't make sense. Like there's drawings on the screen. There's just like everything that could have possibly been put into that movie, they put back into the movie.
And you watched it?
Like 4 times.
Really?
It still doesn't make that much sense. But...
That was my next question.
I mean, it like some of the shit that you like gets likier. Some of the shit... some of the stuff, like it kind of just... It starts to try and like it's pretending to thread more shit together.
Really?
But it doesn't quite. It's just like more Daffy Batshit. Like, and if you like Daffy Batshit, 4.5 hours of that Daffy Batshit.
4.5 hours.
Yeah. Like every now and again, Sci-Fi will like they do it over holidays. We're like at 2:00 in the morning. Dune, the Alan Smithy cut, and just all of it, like 2 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Sci-Fi does some weird shit. Remember when they used to make movies that's like it's the Hallmark version of a sci-fi film? And they were like, the abominable Ant-Man. He's nobody's aunt. Like all this weird...
Like one dude thought up a pun, they're like, shoot it.
Do it. We don't have a script. It doesn't matter.
Fucking just go.
Just do it. We have no money.
Yes.
And a guy in an ant suit.
We can get John Larroquette for 3 days. Go!
Go! Yeah.
I'll be your archaeologist finding the abominable snow lady person.
Yeah.
Sure,
They have so many of those good ones.
I have this kind of like weird ass PTSD flashbacks of like Mansquito.
Yes.
And Lavalantula.
Yeah.
Remember
all
that
of
one?
that.
Do you remember Lavalantula? Oh.
I don't remember Lavalantula.
It's great. I'm not sure if you can figure out where we're going, but like it's in LA because of course, and even though they shot it in Vancouver, but like there's a volcano.
There's parts of LA that look remarkably like Vancouver.
So there's a volcano that's about to show up in LA,
of course,
like in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
But instead of just lava, like tarantulas made of lava come crawling out of the cracks in the earth. So it's like spiders. Fire spiders.
Looks like Hayden Christensen crawling out of the lava.
Like, I have the high ground. And it's like, I think like Lou Diamond Phillips is in it, like trying to save a kid.
Oh, I love Lou.
He's great, but it's like, that's a dude who got paid that week.
They paid real good.
I mean, that's union money.
They paid. He's got a couple ex-wives.
I don't know how we got here either. Oh, Sci-Fi, middle of the night, crazy shit.
Yes,
Dune. Legendary, Sin City.
Yes,
see what we did
that's how we got there.
Fuck, yes. That is a lot of Control Z right there. I'm just like undoing. Oh, that's where we started.
I would never have been able to figure that out. I know that Rosario Dawson was in my head, though.
She's in Sin City.
That's why. And I would have gotten back to Sin City somehow.
She's always in my head. So, like, that's not that big a clue for me. So I was
She's
just...
good.
Yeah,
she's your Henry Cavill.
I mean, yeah. Like, what's Rosario going to try on today? We'll watch that.
Yeah.
Like,
Which way do we go?
Could she and Henry Cavill like have tea at the beginning of every episode and then just go shopping? And
we should have them in an episode of a British Bake Off. Just the two of them.
Oh, head to
Christmas
head.
edition.
Head to head. Be great. Dear Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Check. That's our third one of the night, if anyone's keeping track.
Listen, we're just start a company. We're just like, Dear Netflix.
It's terrible shit.
Behind the Bar Productions, what do we think of today? Behind the Bar, would be great.
Oh, that would be so good. Oh, I'm going to have a dream about this tonight now.
All right. Good luck. Were you, well, I'm not going to say were you a fan. I'm not that interested if you're a fan. That's not the question. But it's Arrow has wrapped production.
Arrow has wrapped production.
It is the beginning of the end of an era, which is Arrow was the font from which the rest of the Berlantiverse sprung.
Yep.
It was always the kind of spine of all those shows. Everything kind of connected back to Arrow. Whenever they would do the crossovers, they all kind of funneled back into the Arrowverse. And what's Oliver Queen going to do this year? What's he going to lose / gain?
And they did 9, right?
8.
8
seasons.
Okay.
Which will culminate, at least for Arrow, in the Crisis on Infinite Earths stuff.
Yes.
What is it like? I have never done this, but you have been on shows that have wrapped production. How do you feel on like that last day when it's series wrap on Katee Sackhoff?
I have to say, when it was Battlestar, I was ready for it to be over. It was a long series. We did 22 episodes a season. It was exhausting playing a character that was so angsty and miserable all the time. And so it was really hard to play her. So when that was over, I just wanted a break. Like, had they said, hey, we're going to take a year off and come back, I would have been like, perfect. But, in lieu of that, the show ended basically. So, and then when Longmire was over, I actually it was really sad because I highly enjoyed the pace of the show. We only did 10 episodes a season. It was really like an easy run for us. And I loved them like family, very similar to Battlestar people. So I cried my eyes out for like a good week when that one ended. But it's, I'm sure that Steven's ready to be done. They've done, I can't speak for him obviously, but they've done 22 episodes is hard when you're the lead. I mean, I just did the lead for 10 episodes and I was exhausted. I can't imagine doing that for 22 seasons, 8 years. I don't think I want to.
You're done.
I don't think I would. No, I don't think I would.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never quite had that experience. I mean, I've had jobs. Because, I have clothes, which means that at some point, like, they're shitty clothes.
Unless your parents send you stuff still.
Yeah, no.
No?
No, my parents were like, you done, right? We did our job. We are no longer legally required to do anything for you.
I think my brother still gets care packages from my mom. Like frozen enchiladas and socks.
Like, are you taking care of yourself, buddy?
No.
So yeah, I've left jobs, especially jobs that I've been at for a long time. Some under great conditions, some under less so. But I've never quite been, the TV camp that it is of making a TV show, and for that to come to an end, and for something to have defined your life for as long as it did. I'm sure Steven has done things before Arrow. We'll do things after Arrow, but like this was the thing. Like, and some actors, as talented as they may be, will only get the one thing. Not saying that that's his fate, but this is like James Gandolfini was like, Sopranos is my TV show. It's the one I'm probably going to do. I'm not going to do another one of these as far as I can tell. So, like, I'm going to get paid while I can, what I can, and take it. But also, like, when it's over, it's a legit, like, you're ending a chapter in your life.
Yeah. I try to, all these, I call them kids. They're only like 10 years younger than me, but like all of these people that are younger than me that are on a series that are maybe not as happy as they, should be. I try to remind them that like there's no guarantee you're going to get another one of these. Mm-hmm. Like, if to go from series to series to series is a very rare thing. And if you have the bird in the hand and it's got an audience and you can find some way to make yourself enjoy that craft daily, stay, because you are so lucky to be where you're at. And I think that performers sometimes lose sight of the fact that this is a job, and if you're not acting, you're not an actor. So, yeah. So I don't know. You look at Jensen and Jared and, the leaving Supernatural, very similar, 11 years or whatever. And Jared's already off doing, Walker, Texas Ranger with a abominable Ant-Man. I'm sure I don't know.
Squatch!
But he's, back in Texas, which is where he's from. So like, there's a reason for him to do that. And like, it's, you got to set yourself up for the long haul. Yeah.
No, I think it's actors act. Like people ask me online all the time, say, man, I want to be a writer. Like, what do I need to do? Like, write.
Right.
It's literally right there in the title. Mm-hmm. Like, writers write. Mm-hmm. Like, it to a certain degree, you can write for money, and hopefully you get there, and you could write for passion. You could write because it's your only way out. Whatever it is, you got to write. Mm-hmm. And through the writing, you get better at it, and if you're better at it, then that will beget success. But, it is... A career in the arts is about doing the art, and it's the only way out.
Oh yeah, no, it's you've got to work, and you've got to practice your craft and stretch your muscles constantly, or you're not growing. So for sure.
What is your relationship, harsh left, to Eddie Murphy? Are you an Eddie Murphy fan?
I mean, yes. I'm
an American.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Eddie Murphy.
Did you watch Dolemite? My name is Dolemite. Dolemite
no.
is my name. It is, okay.
What is it?
Dolemite was a series of movies made by a failed comedian, failed musician, successful blaxploitation dude named Rudy Ray Moore, who had no other talent than being like a bit of a hustler and a bit of a shyster and like made his own, like, I want to be in movies. You're fat and ugly. We're not going to put you in movies. We want to be a singer. You can't sing. I want to be a stand-up comedian. You're not that funny. But he found a way. He built this personality called Dolemite, which was like this weird-ass urban preacher slash superhero slash kung fu legend, and then stitched together enough money to make the first Dolemite movie called Dolemite Is My Name. And it was one of the first indie film successes. Like, they made it during the blaxploitation period when that audience showed up for anything. They released it privately and like in one theater in the middle of nowhere, and it sold out. And so the Eddie Murphy movie called Dolemite Is My Name is like the Bowfinger of that movie. It's like the Ed Wood of that movie. Like, here's how a bunch of like hard-scrabble dudes who have no reason to be able to do this did this. And so it's this kind of like heartwarming, feel-good comedy about artists trying to make art and all the obstacles that come to that. Like, we don't have enough power in this building to actually flood the lights. Great. Tap into the street lights outside. We don't have enough for this. Great. Oh, you're fat and ugly. We're making a comedy. It's like, it's the how you solve problems with nothing to make something that people respond to.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
It's pretty great. And it's like 90 minutes long. And it was written by I'm going to misremember the names, but the dudes who wrote Ed Wood. Larry Karaszewski and Ed something or other. Fuck. That makes me feel bad. But no, the script is great. Eddie is having the time of his life, and he did it for Netflix because, like, at this day and age, movie studios are not funding movies that, like, it's for adults. It's going to cost $30 million. We'll put it in theaters. They didn't. He made it for Netflix, and it did very well for them. To the point where now he's going to Netflix to do Beverly Hills Cop 4.
That makes me really happy.
Doesn't it, though?
Yeah.
Like, I know that 3 is hot garbage. Beverly Hills Cop is not a good movie.
But is it?
I mean...
But is it?
Yeah, well...
We have a very different opinion of...
All right. Defend yourself, Miss Sackhoff.
No,
you don't have to.
I think that movies are supposed to entertain and take you out of your life for 90 minutes. And if you were entertained for 90 minutes and forgot about the shit that's going on in your own life just for a second, it's a good movie. That
is a defendable position.
So I think I just have I go in with zero expectations. I do watch Hallmark like Christmas movie marathons too. So, you know.
I try to greet every movie on its own terms, but Beverly Hills Cop 1 is maybe the best movie of the 80s.
I concur.
You know, it's phenomenal. It does all the things that it does so well. One of the reasons is because it was never supposed to be a comedy. Like, it was going to be a Sylvester Stallone cop drama, and then Sly dropped out, and Eddie signed on, and they're like, oh, it's fucking Eddie Murphy. Mm-hmm. None of us who are making this movie are funny. Eddie, go be funny. And it's just these moments in the movie where he just improvs it. Just like, all right, you got to convince these cops not to follow you. Banana in the tailpipe, banana in the tailpipe. And we're going to do 4 minutes on banana in the fucking tailpipe, and it'll be great. You know, like, Eddie, we're in a strip club. Whatever you say in here is what you're going to say. Because we're not funnier than you are, so have at it. Like, there's this awesome energy of that movie that totally makes it work. The second one is, like, fun because we're back with fucking Axel Foley, and this is cool, and he's going to the Playboy Mansion, and that's neat, and there's Bridget Nielsen, and that's awesome. And then by the third one, it's like, what is happening here? I mean, because you made those other ones, and, like, you knew how that worked, and, like, then you did this one, and it's, like, not that thing, and...
Sometimes they just give a lot of money to people.
They do. But I am looking forward. I'm loving this phase that all of my childhood heroes are in, which is I'm going to do the thing that I did before one last time. You know, like Stallone, I'm going to make one more fucking Rocky movie. I'm going to make Creed, and then Creed 2, whatever. I'm going to make one more Rambo movie.
But he won't go away.
He won't go away.
He's saying, I'll do one more.
I got one more.
I'll do one more.
When it was like, I'll do another fucking Rambo. And then, you know, Tom Cruise, I'm going to do another fucking Top Gun. Like Arnold, I'm going to do one more Terminator. Like
Linda Hamilton, she's like,
fuck yes. I'm going to get back in shape. I'm going to come and kill it.
Right.
Like, I just love this. Like, all the things that I loved as a child are not coming back to me. And all the actors that I loved as a child are now like, one more time.
One more.
I'm a sucker for like the one last heist story. And this is all this is. Like, one last heist for your love, buddy.
What would be your one last that they haven't made that you want them to make?
I desperately want them to make old Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, me too.
I mean, I want Arnold to come back.
Arnie.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's the fucking king of Aquilonia, like the books always said. And he's got a family, and the family is like his son gets kidnapped, and Conan the Barbarian has to strap on the fucking sandals and get the sword out of retirement, and like, let's go do some shit. And
I like it.
And like that would just be like, all of it right here. I just thank you, Arnold.
I like it.
What about you? Do you have one?
Naked Gun.
Ooh. Well, OJ's looking for money.
Yes. I was too soon. No, I mean, Charlie Sheen needs a job. We could do another Major League.
Yeah. We could do a Major League Mighty Ducks crossover, so like the Estevez boys are like, back at it!
And Joshua Jackson?
Yes!
Yes!
Everybody wins!
I love it.
We're all getting paid, you guys.
It doesn't matter. Shut up and take the check.
Yeah, and like Martin Sheen is a commissioner who's got to like referee over. It's like, listen, one son.
We can throw Air Bud in there just for shits and giggles.
It's like
Air Bud's the goalie.
The Disney animated sports multiverse. Like, we got this.
It's Michael Jordan. Throw him in.
Yeah, we got this. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Hey, Disney.
That'd be good. Number 4, if you're keeping track.
Yes, Behind the Bar Productions has a pitch for you.
It'd be awesome.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have anything else. Oh, well, this isn't like news. It's The Rock is making a superhero movie. I will always forever call him The Rock. I know his name is Dwayne.
Black Lightning?
Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Black Lightning would be super weird. Because that's like a straight up black dude. But like for The Rock, like, could we bend this a little bit? Like, I mean, it's The Rock, you guys. But no, it's Black Adam, who is Captain Marvel's in the comics. I'm going home. Hope you guys had a good time. I killed Katee Sackhoff. In the comics, Black Adam was an Egyptian, if I remember correctly, who had the powers of Captain Marvel like thousands of years ago, and kind of returns to, and not like the lady Captain Marvel, like the dude Captain, like Shazam with the lightning bolt, and not fucking Carol Danvers, who's awesomer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings who really loves Billy Batson. And so in the comics, he was a bad guy. But because it's The Rock, he's going to be like a conflicted good guy.
He's just going to be The Rock.
It's going to be the fucking Rock.
And we're going to smell what The Rock is cooking.
Yeah. Just like, what's with the eyebrow, dude? It's like, I'm The Rock.
Right? I like it. I like everything The Rock does. I got to tell you, like I said, it's 90 minutes of fun.
90 minutes of fun. I remember like very early on when he started doing, it wasn't like for the Scorpion King, but it was like for one of his first, but it might have been like the Tooth Fairy or something.
I love the Tooth Fairy with the little curly haired girl.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Super
but like
fun.
he did his very first like big press siege. Like it was like, you're the star of this movie, you're going to go and do all the talk shows, you're going to do, Ellen or fucking Rosie O'Donnell at the time was the proto Ellen. And you're going to do all the late night shows. And somebody cut together like the clips of him giving his answers, and they were the same answer to every person. It was like the machine of it all.
Yeah.
And it seemed weird at the time of like, oh, you're just like a robot doing this thing. But then it became clear, oh no, you're a robot who's doing this thing better than anybody else can do it. Like he cracked the code, just hadn't polished the code yet.
Yeah.
It's like, no, my job is to be incredibly gregarious and totally charming and sell this movie like nobody ever sells movies anymore. And I will do every fucking press opportunity. I will fly around the globe. I will kiss every baby and shake every hand until we get this thing to $1 billion at the box office. And like, that was the beginning of that.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I got to learn how to talk to these people. I got to make it feel natural. I got to be able to sit on a couch and be awesome for 15 minutes and then make people come and buy tickets for my movie.
Yeah, I mean, I follow him on Instagram. I enjoy The Rock. I'm convinced when he goes and works out, he motivates me like in some weird way. I'm like, I'll do it, The Rock.
I smell what you're cooking.
Give me the protein shake.
Or the cheat day.
Oh my God, his cheat days, you guys. I tried to cheat like him.
Yeah?
I did. For like
How'd that go?
Oh my God. Oh my God. So like, there's like more calories than a person my size is supposed to eat in like an entire week. And then I'm trying to eat this, and my boyfriend looks at me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I literally legit looked at him and was like, "The Rock says it's okay." It was just like pancakes in the middle of the night with like peanut butter and cookies and like sushi on the side and like.
I can't imagine.
Gosh, and just, like 2 shots of tequila.
And he always looks so happy.
He looks so happy.
He's like on his private jet surrounded by waffles, and he's just like, let's get after it. I'm like,
right?
Oh, Rock.
God, I want his life so bad because I just want to eat like that all the time. I want my metabolism to be that fast that I can eat that much food, and the next morning I like wake up and I'm still like dehydrated.
Ripped. I feel like you might then have to give up drinking on weekends too.
I know, except on Sundays.
Oh, Sunday for the
Lord. Because he gets to drink on Sundays.
Oh, okay, it's the Lord's Day.
Well, or it's his private plane day. You know.
Where are you flying? To the Waffle House? Yeah, you are.
There are moments when like he like will post that like they brought in his favorite food, and like that favorite food is like 10,000 miles away, and you know that the private plane was like, excuse me, we'll be right back. We gotta go get Benihana from like, you know.
Like Air Force One doesn't fly like this, but we're flying like this for The Rock? Sure. Mm-hmm. I know. Well, it's good to have dreams.
The pilot for Air Force One wishes he worked for The Rock right now.
Yeah. I mean, probably in so many ways.
Right? Safer.
That is all the news we have today, ladies and gentlemen. We're closing a news bag, and now we move to the part of the show that I like to call Q&A because that's what it's called.
Is there music though?
Well, no. We had a news theme that Malcolm Barrett helped out with when he was here, the co-host. We don't have a Q&A theme, but we could cut and paste that thing and loop it and Kanye that shit. We gotta pay for that because that's fucking peanuts.
I know. If you let me know how much it is because you need it for my YouTube channel.
All right.
I was listening to it all day today, trying to find out if it was expensive.
Okay, for our Q&A today, we have a couple of giveaways.
Ooh.
Which is always nice. Our good friends at 40X and ScreenX, Brett Deacon has given us tickets, as always, for ScreenX, which, have you ever been to a ScreenX theater?
I don't think so.
Probably not. There's only like a handful of them in LA.
Okay.
But what they do is, it's like you're sitting in the movies, right? And there's like a movie screen there. And then like for like 40 minutes out of the movie, suddenly these panels open up on the side, and then the movie becomes this like 300-degree experience. I saw Black Panther in this format.
That must have been insane.
It was fucking nuts. Because totally like, we're in Wakanda and Wakanda and Wakanda and Wakanda.
Everyone's running by you really fast.
Oh my God!
Chris Evans' junk is like over your head. What is happening?
On your left. Thanks, junk.
It's Black Lightning.
That's all around you. It's Black Lightning. His junk is all around.
All around you.
Love is all around. So yes, we have 3 sets of ScreenX tickets.
That's awesome.
Apparently, Ford versus Ferrari in fucking ScreenX is dope as hell because it's just like all the racing shit is surrounding you. So yes,
A Dog's Journey is too.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? It's like you got free tickets to go to this theater. It's amazing, and they played like A Dog's Journey.
Like, wow, there's a dog. Is this a Clifford? No, it's just another fucking dog.
It's a Chihuahua.
This really earned the format.
Instead of Chris Evans drunk, it's Chihuahua's drunk.
It's like, wow, that is the smallest giant dick I've ever seen.
That would be a real letdown. Anyway.
Hey, date night.
First question.
And we also have this giant fucking book. The people at TRA Publishing have put out this book called Lair, which is all about supervillain headquarters. It's pretty glorious, and interviews with people who've like production designers and It's mostly Bond, because Bond movies have had the best fucking supervillain
They've got
headquarters.
the best villains ever.
But yes, so they have donated books for us to give away,
Very
which is
cool.
lovely. So yes, there's a prize pack for you guys. See,
Bond villains have the best names. They're like stripper names.
They really are.
Like my stripper name would be Mama Kitty Heritage, and I also feel like it works if I was a Bond villain.
Wait, what now?
Mama Kitty Heritage.
That's a weird ass stripper name,
Right?
though.
Yeah.
I mean, coming off the stage is Tangeray. Welcome to Mama Kitty Heritage.
She's in vintage clothes.
Oh yeah, totally. She's a flapper. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal.
She does.
Yes.
A lot of tassels.
I'm never going to forget that one. Behind the Bar Productions presents Mama Kitty Heritage. Story of one woman's rise from the tassel to the castle.
They're traveling south.
Yes. Woo. All right, so.
Sober. Sober.
Diet Coke, you guys. I know. It's the cocaine of diets. So, who's our first question asker? So we can be question answer. Remember the rules. Both of us have to be able to answer the question. So don't be like, Katie, tell me what it was like to be awesome in behind the fucking cockpit of a Viper, because I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, you could ask us what day it is.
Well, I hope my question's okay, Marc and Katee.
Hi.
Bring it. What's your name?
Susan.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
Nice to meet you, Susan.
Nice to meet you.
What you got?
Pardon?
What can I do you for?
So what's the deal on this new Battlestar Galactica series? Do you guys know anything about it? Can you talk? Is this one of your secret things you can't talk about?
No, they can't afford me. I'm just kidding.
All right, fuck it.
You go first.
You go first, buddy. I had alluded to it on a past episode, and I had JC cut out all mentions of it, but now, fuck it. Because what are they going to do? Keep not paying me?
It's true. You can't get fired twice.
No.
Not that you were fired.
No. I just wasn't hired.
Yeah. You didn't get the job.
Right. So they can't be like, hey, buddy, hey, still didn't get it.
Could you imagine? You have the job. Now you're fired.
Yeah. It's like, I did what? Psych. Click. I was invited to pitch an idea for the new Battlestar Galactica TV show.
It's not a reboot, right?
Well, no. Probably because, and before I even did that, I went to Tricia, my co-host on the Battlestar Galactica cast, and then I went to Ron Moore, and I went to David Icke. I went to all of them, and I'm like, hey, so they've asked me if I want to try and pitch on this. Do I have your blessing? And they all said, sure, just don't do any of the shit that we did. Meaning like, and Ron was very sort of sanguine about it. He said, I rebooted a thing. Like, it's not mine. I didn't invent this. The things that I did invent, I want to keep. Like, so I don't want a President Rosalind to show up. I don't want a Chief Tyrrell to show up. I don't want a Doc Cottle to show up. But you can have your Baltars, you can have your Adamas, you can have your Apollos and your Starbucks. Like, anything that was in the 70s show, you can have. Anything that was in my show, get the fuck out of Dodge. And I said, I respect that. I get it. Totally cool. Sam Esmail, the guy who was producing it, also understood that. That's the agreement that they had. And so Ron was super cool about it. It's like, yeah, man, you're not like kissing my wife, because I was kissing another dude's wife, and that's all fine. So, but I didn't want to do the same show. Like, because I was never going to be better at it than Ron was. Like, that Battlestar is my favorite show of the last, 25 years. It is a signal work of television. It is phenomenal. It does all the things that it does incredibly well. Even, and we've gotten to episodes, Trish and I, in doing the Battlestar Galactica cast, where there are episodes that don't quite land as well as I would hope they would land. It's not because they weren't trying hard. It's because the reach exceeded their grasp. As opposed to, we just made a shitty episode of TV. Oh no, there's a shitty episode of Magnum P.I. Sure, because it just is. Like, this was a show that was always, like, swinging for the fences, and sometimes you just didn't connect right. So I didn't want to do anything I didn't want to touch any of that. So I came up with a take that was, like, radically different. So radical that it was too different. But, and ultimately they said, well, we don't want to go that way. And we know immediately, like, the take was, like, so fucking, like, oh no, there's no humanoid Cylons, oh no. You know, nobody's traveling from planet to planet. There's one planet, and that planet is called Galactica. Okay, cool. Not so cool for them. Which is fine. Like, the job of being a screenwriter in Hollywood pitching on open projects is sometimes you get it, most times you don't. And this was a time that I didn't. And so I spent 3 weeks, like, playing in this world that I love to death. Didn't happen. Totally cool. I think they will crack it in some fashion. I think we will see a Battlestar reboot. That may or may not play in the same universe as Ron's show, which plays in the same universe as the Glenn Larson show. But it won't be mine. I will maybe subscribe to Peacock. Maybe for the fucking Punky Brewster show. And I didn't want to have frack in it. I was like, that's too, no. I can't walk in those footsteps. Do you have feelings?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't care.
The best attitude.
I do, in the sense that, like, if they were to redo what we did and hire a blonde chick that looked just like me and was 22, I'd be like, wow, that was really shitty. But if they do something in the world, you know, I think that the world is big enough to have, there's 41,000 characters left on this show to choose from. It's literally written on a chalkboard. You can follow new people. Mm-hmm. The problem that I feel like they're going to run into is that they did that with Blood and Chrome and Caprica, and it didn't work as well as Battlestar Galactica. So they've already tried that. So I worry that they're going to just go back and do what they say they're not going to do and remake it again. That would be my only fear. But listen, I mean, go for it. Have fun. You know, I think there's some really heavy, big shoes to fill, and God bless them. Yeah,
like my take on it was always, somebody's going to make this show. Mm-hmm. That's what Tricia told me. She's like, somebody's going to do it, and might as well be you. Yeah. Like, somebody's going to make it, like, and it'll be what it is. Hopefully it's its own thing.
I'd love for it to be its own thing.
Because I want more new things. Like, we live in this weird-ass world where everything's kind of reheated and rebooted and resequeled and reimagined. Like, be your own thing. Be something new. That's the thing we're at a shortage of, is the new in the world.
I would really love for them to, you know, continue to find new science fiction shows that haven't been made before, and get behind those and give money to those, and you know, there are so many amazing writers that have new and fresh ideas, and I would love to see a show that's better than Battlestar Galactica get made, you know?
I'd like to see them try. But yes, thank you. Did that answer for you? Awesome. Come and take things. Don't run away yet. Come and have things.
You get to go see A Dog's Journey.
You get to go see A Dog's Journey. Who else we got? Who's got a question that needs answering? I can't fix your car. Hey, man.
How's it going?
Tell me your name again.
Mike.
Hey, Mike.
How's it going?
How are you? How are you, bub?
So, I'm doing well.
You called him Bub.
So my question is, who in your life do you look up to that's not a real person? So what non-fictional character do you take
fictional character.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, don't choose a non-fiction, choose a fiction. That you look up to for their ideas, their ability to solve problems. You know, who in your life do you go, oh, Gambit. I really like how he's just so suave, and I want to be more suave like Gambit. That's not who I would choose. I was just trying to pick someone, but...
Do you have one? A fictional hero or heroine that inspires you on to greatness?
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Wait, is that your answer, or...?
No.
Fair.
I mean... I don't know. I mean, I always grew up idolizing Sigourney Weaver, and so I'm just, for lack of a better answer, like that to me, she sort of, I mean,
Ripley?
it is a real person, but Ripley. So I loved Ripley, and she sort of, when I got the opportunity to play stronger characters, I loved the vulnerability and the femininity that she brought to a strong masculine role. And so that's always been sort of, I loved her. I don't know if that's exactly what your question was. But.
No, I think that works. So you found someone that you could relate to, something that you pulled from to try and emulate in your life to better yourself, correct?
Good answer.
Well done. I
Should have said Nancy Drew.
Honestly, and it's not because, no, fuck it. It's William Adama. It is as a person who has found himself in management positions, looking to the way Bill Adama on Battlestar Galactica deals with people who work for him, work with him, how he deals with crisis, how he deals with new information. Like he's a man who does not seem to be afraid of admitting that he's wrong. He's not a man who seems to be afraid to recalibrate based on the presence of new information. There's this great line when I think it's Gaeta comes to him. It's when they're stealing the election, right? And Gaeta discovers that there's something wrong with these ballots. I don't know how to say this, and he says, "Fast and straight is what I'd advise." Like that feeling that just be direct. Like say what you mean what you say. Like if you give your word, you keep it. You do the right thing by the people that you love. You protect the people that you care for, and you are willing to put it all on the line for the cause you believe in. I think that as I began to mature as a person, as a professional, as I find myself in new spheres of my life, things like the management guide by William Adama comes in handy, because that character as presented, and in the couple of times that I've met Edward James Olmos, seems to also be that guy, which is, don't say it if you don't mean it. Don't do it if you don't believe in it. Like, find the people you love and protect them. You know, and I think that it is as good a path to chart by as any, I've found.
I was going to ask you, actually, because it sounds so much like Ed, that I wonder if the line was in the script.
It would not surprise me if it wasn't.
Yeah, me either.
You know, like there is, and he's a person you want to follow. You know what I mean? Like there's something about it being part of the military, and there's something about the command structure lending that to you. But he's the kind of person who you would want to be in command. And so to find a way to be the kind of person that other people would want to follow, not because they have to, but because they get to, like that's kind of cool. So yes, that's my fictional hero.
That's a great answer. I need a mulligan.
I mean, you could try again.
No, it won't work. I'm not quick on my toes.
You're doing great though.
Well,
We sold 5 movies already.
We did.
You're awesome on your toes.
We
You
are.
fucking killed
It's
it.
true. Could you imagine if I was like, bitch pudding?
Yes. No. But yes.
But yeah, she says what's on her mind at all times.
You know, you're never
know?
confused where you stand with bitch pudding.
No, she, you know what you're gonna get. You know, she always shows up for you, whether you want her or not. She's like an STD. She's just
Super
will
fun
not.
to get, and then she won't leave.
And then she won't leave. Bitch pudding. Blam! There you go.
Done.
Yeah.
Mike, you won a book and you won tickets. Thank you
very
for
much.
that. All right, we got one more question. We got one more giant book which we could use for home defense or like propping up tables and shit. Hey man, what's your name?
Hey, it's Wes.
Wes. Good to meet you, Wes.
Hi,
How's it going?
Wes. We saw you on the way to the bathroom.
Yeah, thanks
Hi.
for the awkward moment.
Yeah,
Sorry
you're
about
welcome.
that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I hope the STD works out. What you got for us, Wes?
So I was kind of wondering if there was a moment in TV or movies or even comics where you saw a trope coming, but then the plot kind of turned on its head that really surprised you. One example that comes to my mind is the end of Watchmen with Ozymandias' monologue about what's going to happen, and everyone telling him, "Oh, we're not going to let you do that." Well, it's already in place.
Okay, so a trope coming that subverts the trope.
Yeah.
My favorite. What? Do you have one?
No, just talk long.
All right, I'll talk long. My
Like,
favorite.
Order first. I'll get there.
Okay, all right. I'll start with the salad and then the calamari. No, my favorite version of this is it's a movie called Deep Blue Sea. And so, do you remember the said movie? So, it's this moment which is like my favorite moment, where Samuel L. Jackson is playing this like Arctic explorer dude, and so of course they're like underwater and the fucking sharks are coming. And
It was
like,
a very believable movie. Just go ahead.
Yeah, no, I got it. And so like sharks are coming and they're trapped underwater, and everybody's fucking upset because again, genetically mutilated sharks can fucking kill us. And everybody's panicking, and they're about to give up, and Sam Jackson stands there in his fucking wetsuit. He's like, "We will not give up. We will never give up. I once climbed a mountain with a bunch of people, and there was the worst version of it ever, and I said, we are not gonna die on this mountain. We are not gonna, we walked down the mountain, we ate a bunch of people on the way, but that's okay." Like it's the fucking like super rousing, like we are gonna, we will not give in. We will stand and fight another night. And so he's literally like, the camera's pushing in really tight, and he's like fucking, he's geared up. He's all Sam Jackson, he's like, "Ah, motherfuckers, we're gonna fucking do it." And then a shark bites him in half, which is the most amazing version of that scene, because all the way up you're like, oh, he's doing a thing where like everybody's at their lowest point, and your hero just stands up. He's always like the magical Negro who's like, "Hey everybody, here's the thing you're supposed to do when I tell you you're supposed to do it. Thanks, Bagger Vance." And then like the white dude goes off and does the thing. And so like they fucking kill him in the middle of that speech. It's so amazing where you're just like, did they just fucking kill Sam Jackson with a shark? Like in the middle of his "we have to survive" speech? Yeah, they just did that. And the rest of that movie is suddenly like, I will forgive it everything. Like it's dumb as fuck before that, it's dumb as fuck after that. But that moment enshrines it in like cinematic glory, because they fucking killed Sam Jackson with a shark. Like, bravo, everybody involved. So that's mine. I went almost as long as I could.
There's still nothing. I'm trying to think of something. I mean, I
will give you another one to let her buy some time.
Perfect.
It is, for most of the first half of Iron Man 3, we're led to believe that Ben Kingsley is playing the Mandarin, right? And and they announced he was playing the Mandarin, and they were like, "Oh, it's fucking Ben Kingsley the Mandarin." We're like, all right, well, he's like he's East Asian, kind of, all right, that's cool, I get it, I buy it. And then you get spoilers. Anybody not see Iron Man 3 10 years ago? Like, just, you want to be clear. Also, I spoiled Deep Blue Sea before that, so like halfway through Iron Man 3, they reveal that Ben Kingsley is not playing the Mandarin, but playing an actor named Nigel, who had been like hired for the role of the Mandarin, and it's phenomenal. Like that moment, because the marketing told us that he was the Mandarin. The movie was been pressing down on like, he's the fucking Mandarin. I got the 10 rings and I'm gonna rain hell on these motherfuckers. And then it's like, just like drunk, high Ben Kingsley playing an actor out of his depth who had like substance problems and maybe like a weird sexual harassment allegation, and so couldn't work in the UK anymore. And it was like, well, we're doing theater now. This is what's happening. Yeah, thanks, Mandarin. You need me help. We want this. All right, I'm a terrorist now. Yeah, all right, here we go. Bring me your money. Oh, I got it. Booze, booze, booze. Girls, girls, girls. Like it's phenomenal.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
And I got one more. No,
okay, so we're looking for. We thought something was gonna happen in the movie, and then it didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Love Actually.
Ooh.
Keira Knightley. You think she's gonna go with the best friend, and she doesn't.
Nice. Also,
right? You actually do. Do you guys remember that? It's a Christmas movie.
and also like he's like played by Andrew Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
And like super like pre-zombies, like he's still got hope in his eyes, Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah.
And like young and handsome, and he's got his fucking card game.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I've loved you from afar.
But like,
I know this is fucking
he's
weird.
so cute too.
He's super cute, but
And
also like crazy stalkery.
a little bit.
And like doing a thing that's not cool, bro.
A little bit. Like nobody. Yeah.
It's like it's the grand romantic gesture that in most romantic comedies.
It's like the say anything moment.
Totally, except she's like, nah, man,
didn't
this
work.
is fucking weird. I'm
Yeah.
married to your best friend, or about to
Yeah.
get married to your best
Yeah.
friend, like still engaged.
That's the only one I could think of.
It's a good one though. I like that.
Thank you.
Well fucking played.
Thanks. Well, listen, my brain wasn't working very well. Like a
Sorry.
deer in headlights.
You've got an early call tomorrow.
I do. I've got so much dialogue in my head. It's like, wait a second.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't just start spitting lines from like.
Me too. It would have been real
Yeah,
bad.
it's like we gotta cut this. All of this has to come out.
All of you now have to sign NDAs.
Wes, thank you for your question.
By the way, thank you for introducing me to Stephen King books and that world and everything. Thank you.
Oh, dude, I am so glad, Steven. I'm a pussy. Is that the right word? So like I don't do the horror so much, and
No?
yet I worked on Castle Rock, which was all about Stephen King and horror. But my way in was I read all the shit that didn't scare me. So like I know how it works,
Yeah.
even if I am unwilling to engage with like I'm not gonna Tommy knock anybody. Like fuck that. No, I'd like to sleep well. But-
My dad showed me a bunch of scary movies when I was a child, and he would pause them, like Predator. He'd pause it just as someone was about to die. Sometimes he was a little delayed because it was VHS. And then he would explain it was fake, and it was all like makeup and all this stuff, and then he'd play.
Wow. Your
And then
dad-
we'd watch it.
Your dad loves you.
Mine
Mine didn't. I was like, yeah, you want to watch the thing? Let's watch the thing. It's like, you could have paused it. Nah, learn some shit. Well, fuck, thanks, Dad. But thank you for your question. Come get some shit. I don't know. Does one more person want to ask a question? Look, we're having fun, and we'll
I'm
get out of here
having
pretty
fun.
quick. Come on, Shannon, what do you want to know? I didn't got to bub him. I know his name.
I got a good one. Maybe, I don't know.
And there's no prizes,
Hi, Mark.
so I won't
Hi,
feel
Katie.
bad.
First of all, thank you so much for writing that for my son. He'll be delighted, and I don't know if you know how hard it is to delight a 15-year-old. It's not as easy as it used to be.
I mean, I find if you just give them an iPhone.
Right. Well, it's too late
But it
for
can't
that.
be an old iPhone.
That's-
It's got to
yeah.
be a new iPhone.
It can't
Buddy,
be.
I got you an iPhone 6.
That's not even.
Fuck
That
you,
wouldn't
Dad.
even do it.
I hate you, Dad. Slam.
I'm leaving.
But my question for you guys is like from writing Alphas all the way back to that, you back to Battlestar, even before that. But we'll go Battlestar. What did you do then as an actress and as a writer that you would never do now, or that you just what have you learned? What's different now when you're taking a part, when you're writing? What have you learned? What's different?
My worst rookie mistakes is what you're looking
Your
for.
rookie mistakes, things you would never do now, but you did then.
Oh my God, so many.
I
Do
found
you
one
have
that you
time?
can answer.
Like, I got to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Oh my God, so
Pick a
many.
random one.
So mine's pretty easy. Because I started when I was like 17, I was like a kid, and I honestly didn't realize how hard it should have been and how blessed I was that I was in the right place at the right time and started working. And I wish that I could go back and take it more seriously, younger. I mean, I worked just on one series with Richard Dreyfuss. I worked with Richard Dreyfuss, Marcia Gay Harden, Peter O'Toole, Eli Wallach, Ann Johnson.
Holy shit.
Daily, just daily. And I was, 19 years old and drinking every night and partying my ass off and coming to work and being like, hey, Peter O'Toole from what? So
Lawrence of a Hoobie?
I'm drunk too.
Lawrence of what? No, I don't watch black and white. Oh wait, that's color. Sorry. Oh, it was remastered though. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish I could.
That is some Gene Simmons level shade.
It was bad. He thought it was funny. We got drunk off Cosmos one night.
Wow. I'm trying to imagine what Peter O'Toole drunk on Cosmos must be like.
Probably like anything
Just
else
Peter
he's drunk
O'Toole,
off.
like
Just normal.
normal.
Probably just like Peter O'Toole.
Peter O'Toole
Yeah.
on a Tuesday afternoon. All right, no, that is a solid answer, Katee.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I used to have this tendency in my first writer's room on Alphas, which I was broken up very quickly, of pitching a problem without a solution, or like spotting a problem. Like, it's super easy. Like, you know what, that doesn't work for me, and the showrunner would be like, yeah, but A, my show. B, if it doesn't work for you, what would you do instead? And it's almost Vulcan of the it's easier to destroy than it is to create. The job is to create. And so to get in there and you don't like it? Fine. Pitch an alt. Even if that's not great, you got to come with something. You got to because spotting the problem does us nothing. Fixing the problem or finding us a way on the path to fixing the problem. Your fix doesn't have to be the right one, but it might spark somebody thinking of something else and something else. And the avalanche of ideas can be triggered by the worst idea, but you got to have an idea. It's the pitch, don't bitch rule. And I think that going forward in most things in life, if you have a problem, great. What's your solution to that problem? And I told it to Tricia when she listen, I can't make it tonight, but I asked Katee if she'd fill in.
No, she didn't ask me.
I was implying certain generosity.
She
told you.
Threatened. But she was like, are you okay? And I'm like, Tricia, I would have loved you to be here and it would have been super fun. Katee's lovely, it'll be great, but you had a problem and you also brought me a solution. And that means more to me than you know, because most people don't do that. So it is being additive to the world as opposed to being destructive to the world. And if you can figure out a way to do that in all parts of your life, then all the better. But yes, making shit up is definitely crucial to be like, no, you got to bring something. Don't come to the table empty-handed.
So now Carnival Row, you're like, oh, let's do this instead.
And that's the job. The job is calibrating yourself to your showrunner's tastes and then giving him what he wants. And when he doesn't know what he wants, giving him options for what he could want. Here is the sampler menu of 9 different things that you could choose from. And that's the gig. It's making shit up for an occasionally wayward and fickle boss who's like, I don't like blue today. Oh, all right, well, I guess we're not doing blue. I feel funny. It's not a comedy, sir. Make me laugh. No, I don't do that. I can give you a car chase, though. Fine.
That's good, though. That's a really important thing, though, because there are so many people that can do what we do, and we would be delusional to think that somebody can't do what we do, and that the opportunities we are in this present moment we're so blessed to have them. Mm-hmm. And I think that being the person that constantly tries to be better and constantly is on their game and coming up with solutions and finding the solution to the problem is the guy that keeps working. I'm
never not mindful of the fact that my life is ridiculous, and that there are 1,000 lefts that I could have taken. There's 1,000 fucking bullets out of the blue that could have derailed it. But the road from there to here is impossible to navigate, and there was no way to plot a course for that. And so to realize that I am here but for the grace of whatever is valuable.
Yeah.
And also never take it for granted, and also never let them take you for granted, because you did make that.
Yeah.
You got there.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good one. That's one of the things I used to do a lot. When I first started in this business, I was so young, and I was trained to be seen, not heard. And so I never spoke my mind because I was so terrified I would get fired or I would be labeled as difficult or that...
Can't imagine that.
Oh my God. Well, so I didn't say anything. I sat back, and the first time in my life that I actually started having an opinion that was listened to was on Battlestar. And Eddie, because Eddie forced them to listen to all of us. And Ron Moore said, what do you want to do? You know this character better than I'll ever know her. Tell me okay, you don't think you'd be in this scene? Great, go home. Like, you would know more than we would. Fine. And that was the first time that I actually started speaking up for myself. I wish I would have done it sooner.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I say it online sometimes, I've said it before here. My credo, if I ever had one, my family crest would say, be humble, but let motherfuckers know.
When you were on 33...
I am going to make that my tramp stamp. I'm just going to tattoo it right there. Oh my God, so they can see it when I walk away.
But yeah, it's like, listen, I understand. Like, I'm blessed to be here. I understand how improbable it is that I'm here. 3,000 people in the world get to do this job. 400,000 people in the world are qualified to do this job. 10 million people in the world want to do this job, and I get to do it. And I understand how long shot that is. I understand how improbable and ridiculous it is. But I'm still pretty good at it.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, and like, it's not by accident that I get to do this. And I will never fucking brag. I will never be like, look what I got to do, I'm awesome at this. But I am, though.
Oh, yeah. I do that at home. Like, yeah. I am terrible to live with. I walk around all the time like... But
who's better than you?
Yeah.
But me.
Yeah. I hold my trophies in the mirror.
But yes.
All right, guys.
Be humble, but let motherfuckers
sit down now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's the end of the show tonight. Have you had a good time? Have you had a good time? There we go. I would like to thank so desperately Katee Sackhoff for coming out tonight and playing with me, for coming as far as you came, and making us rich with all kinds of fucking awesome ideas that we're not going to go sell to Netflix. Behind the Bar Productions.
We are Behind the Bar Productions. If anybody steals those ideas, we have proof.
Fuck you. You watched a thing on the YouTubes once.
We're also gonna get sued for me humming the Peanuts tune. But
clearly. We're
gonna make money and lose money. That's how
it goes. Come out in the wash. But yes, thank you all for coming out. We're not back next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that on December 3rd, Phil Lamar is gonna be my co-host. And it will be my birthday show. Yeah, my birthday's not on the day, but it's just after the day. And so, I don't know, I might buy everybody drinks that night. Just fuck it. So, if you want to come, tickets are on sale. Come and get drunk with me. We'll talk about nerd shit. But until then, thank you for coming to Blackman Beyond at the Scum and Villainy Cantina. My name is Marc Bernardin. That is Katee Sackhoff. Woo! Come back next week. Same fat time, same fat channel. Smodcast.com or youtube.com/Kevin Smith. Good night, everybody.